My brother wrongly accused our parents of being controlling, so I confronted him.
Maybe they were only controlling with him.
Your favorite child alert. Uh-oh. My brother-in-law, 25 male, and sister-in-law, 24 female, are currently expecting a baby due any day now. Congratulations. They have started giving my parents the silent treatment, and I have no idea what to do, especially because I live in a different state from all of them. Sorry, it is a long story. By the way, this comes from Snowden29, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK storytime subreddit.
Do it.
There has been constant tension from my brother and sister-in-law towards myself and my parents throughout their entire married life. This all started due to a conflict that occurred when I was in college before they got married. To give some context, my brother proposed to his girlfriend from high school, now wife, when he was 21. She had been planning her wedding on Pinterest for years, like many of us do, but had no desire to have a large bachelorette party, especially because she was not even a big drinker. Sister-in-law decided to have her bachelorette at Halloween Horror Nights, inviting her friends from her high school, her cousin, and her sister-in-law. I was also invited, and with my college nearby, I said I would be able to go even though I had a busy class schedule. She sent me a time and purchased a ticket. I purchased a ticket. A few weeks later, I went to the amusement park an hour early before the time that she told me to be there, so I would not be late. I sat at the Starbucks and just people watched until it was around 5 o'clock, the meeting time. I had not received a text and decided to reach out to check the status on their arrival. My soon-to-be sister-in-law was planning to carpool with everyone from our hometown and drive 1 hour to the park, so I assumed that they were late for traffic reasons. I waited for a reply and still nothing, waiting for another 30 minutes. I texted again and finally received a reply. She said that they were on their way to the park. Apparently, my sister-in-law decided to book her hairstyle practice for her wedding the same day as Halloween Horror Nights in the afternoon, so her hair would be done for her bachelorette, and that's why she said she was running late. I decided to grab some food as the event would not be open until 6 o'clock and sat waiting. About an hour later, I waited, expecting them to have reached the hotel, and texted my sister-in-law yet again for an update. She said that they arrived but were hungry. They ordered pizza to the hotel. Again, I waited 30 minutes, so it was close to 8 o'clock at this point. I had not heard any updates, so I decided to head into the park to experience some of the scare zones, but did not enter any houses because the express pass only worked once for each house. I sat alone in the park, and still not having heard from my sister-in-law, I texted my brother if he knew where she was and told my parents about the situation. Big mistake. My dad called my brother in a frenzy, asking him how his future wife could lack empathy and not communicate where she was. He was pissed that I was left in the park by myself during a huge event like Halloween Horror Nights where something could happen, even though I was a college student at the time. My brother called me soon after and apologized, asking me where I was and to go have fun by myself. During this time, my brother was also Snapchatting my sister-in-law, asking her where she was. My brother said that she was on her way, and that was that. I sat on the curb, and they all finally showed up a little after 9 o'clock.
Dang, and they said 6.
Yeah.
Oh, and
That's
OP's, I mean,
crazy.
OP chose to be there at 5, but like still has been there
Right.
since 5.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't complain for being there for like for,
an hour. If they were like, if they got there for 6, you could be like, I've been here for an hour.
Yeah, but the several hours like after the meeting time, you could definitely complain about that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
4 hours after they were supposed to be there. My sister-in-law looked unbothered, and they all brushed it off like nothing happened. Actually, no, they said 5, so it was 4 hours. So she, I think, was there at 4 then, and then they pushed it back to 6 because of the hair thing, and then so it's just like. It's just
no.
More.
I think
right?
OP did get there at 5, but I think
5?
you're right that like originally the time was 5, and then they pushed
either
it.
way.
Just
Multiple hours have gone by.
Bad communication.
So bad.
Regardless of what the time was.
Yeah. My sister-in-law looked unbothered, and they all brushed it off like nothing happened.
That's
nudging me to follow them to our first house. Throughout the evening, it was fine. I made small talk with her friends, but did not have too much in common with them. I was nice and did not bring up the rude delay. At the end of the night, I decided to leave early because I still had class the next morning and bid them a goodbye. They seemed kind of relieved I was leaving, but I decided to brush it off. Dang, that's rough, man.
That's rude.
Fast forward, my sister-in-law was not forgiving of that night. My brother apparently was told off by my dad and said that his wife should have been more responsible in caring for other people's time. He said that he did not appreciate her leaving his daughter alone and not communicating with her. He said something along the lines of, "You should think twice about marrying someone like that." My father said that in the heat of the moment when he was very angry at my sister-in-law. My dad stood up for me when I could not, and he came from a loving place for my sake. Apparently, my brother told everything to my future sister-in-law, especially that part in quotes.
Dude.
Yikes.
Dude. We probably could have kept a few things.
Yeah. You don't need to be that
Yeah.
honest.
You don't have to be like a freaking court reporter.
Yeah, exactly.
You can paraphrase.
She was pissed at me and, moreover, my father. My mom went out to lunch with them to mitigate the situation, and sister-in-law said that it was not her fault. She communicated clearly and that I should apologize. Ooh. I decided to let it go. I knew it was not my fault she was late and left me, deciding to be the bigger person. I did, in fact, apologize to her, but said that I did not feel like I was in the wrong. I only contacted my brother and my parents because I was worried about what to do in the situation. I did not come from a malicious place to ruin her bachelorette like she said I did.
No, you literally didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, not at all. Then this mess led to the first ever harsh treatment from her and also my brother. According to her, it was my fault and my parents for messing up her bachelorette and causing drama. The wedding came and we were left out of details and were not told much, even though my parents were paying for the majority of it. Whoa. Wow.
I'm wondering if they were left out, like if OP was originally going to be like a bridesmaid or something and then was left out. Like, I don't know.
That would be a crazy thing to...
Yeah.
Or if they're just like, hey, like we decided on these flowers and they're like the most expensive flowers or something like that. Sister-in-law told her entire family about what my father said and turned his words against us all, making us seem like we hated her and wanted to break off their engagement. The wedding rehearsal came and it was awkward silence. Her family clearly was angry at us, thinking of this predisposition they had in their mind. We had already met them before, but to have this switch was scary and uncomfortable. Getting to the wedding, her family was put first throughout the process, and everyone from her family made a speech, while myself and my parents were never asked. My parents and I kept in the background with our side of the family. I never even got to dance with my brother or really talk to him, which I guess happens at weddings. My parents ended up paying for my brother and my sister-in-law's entire honeymoon to an all-inclusive resort as a wedding gift. They had a great time, but never really told us much about it. They then went on to get an apartment and a dog. My brother left me and my mom to clean out his entire childhood room, bringing all his stuff to his new apartment. We boxed everything and helped him out because we wanted to, but when we got to his apartment, he asked, "Why did you bring all of this?" We looked at each other, confused. We spent hours packing this up. Sister-in-law walked in and started going through the stuff, making piles for us to take back.
No, come on.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
This
You
is
just
crazy.
asked.
Yeah.
You just asked.
Yeah, that's wild. My poor mom relented and started taking stuff back to the car. After this event and move, my parents and I did not hear much from my brother. We decided to give him space to figure out this new process in his life. Leaving out other small events that happened in between, it was my turn to graduate college. This even started the first silent treatment phase. How, you may ask? I only got 5 tickets for my graduation, and clearly I was giving 2 to my parents who supported me, 1 to my grandma, 1 to my brother, and the last ticket I figured I would give to my sister-in-law. However, with not hearing from them much, I assumed that she would not want to go, and she was not a big contributor to this milestone. My best friend, however, was studying with me and cheering me on 24/7. But I decided to give it to my sister-in-law because my brother was invited. I came home from college one weekend, and they were over for dinner at my parents' house. As the sister-in-law was leaving, I whispered to my mom if it would be the right time to invite her to my graduation. My mom said clearly, "Do what you want, sweetie. It's your decision." I then proceeded to ask my sister-in-law if she and my brother would like to attend. She gave me a weird look and asked the date in a weird tone. I told her, and she said, "I probably can," rushing out with my brother right behind her.
She's gonna show up at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, sorry, I was getting my hair done.
Right. It's like everyone's gone. We're graduated, man.
I already walked.
Yeah.
Like at 12.
Right. Coming back to this later, a few months after, my parents and I, in little to no contact with my brother, learned that they had moved back into my sister-in-law's parents' house. This was shocking because they had been living there for months and did not tell us. My brother said words that he would never use towards my parents. "We thought you would judge us." My parents were in fact not judgmental and understood about saving money, but were more appalled by the thought that my brother was not living where he said he was. My graduation announcement was sent to their apartment, and when it was sent back, they lied, telling me that their mail system still had a few things they needed to sort out. It was a crazy shock. Nonetheless, I graduated and was prepping to move to a different state for graduate school when they messaged my mom randomly saying that they needed to talk. I remember this being a random evening this past summer when they sat us down and started accusing each person of wrongdoing. First was my father. They brought up the Halloween Horror Nights event that occurred, saying that he hated my sister-in-law and would never welcome her into the family, which was a complete lie. My father said that out of defense for me and was angry in the spur of the moment. Also, they accused him of being too judgmental about their living situation, which he never spoke a peep about. Then they started to accuse my poor mother of encouraging the fact that I would not invite my sister-in-law to my graduation. That is when I started getting pissed. I was inviting her, and she took it out of context. Sister-in-law started ranting about my mom and how she was in the wrong. Then they both looked at me. She mentioned the graduation invite, saying, even if I did not want to go, my family still goes. Bringing it back to why her family was better. What? Even if I did not want to go, my family still goes.
That doesn't make sense.
She's saying that like her family would go to OP's graduation?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
That doesn't make any sense. But it is not a contest. I digress. Sister-in-law then started getting angry at my constant messaging for my brother to hang out by himself with me. My brother joined in, saying that they are a pair now and need to be invited together. I don't like any of this. There's
also,
just
they
so much more
were
about it.
invited to the graduation. I'm confused.
I think this is now, they're both invited
the
to
graduation happened. What?
Yeah, this is now about just hanging out. In general, just hang out just with the brother. This is so silly.
That's also ridiculous.
I can see all the manipulation behind it, of all the isolation.
He's being twisted.
Which is a big no.
Yeah, no. She's trying to twist it because he seems like he was like super. When OP first called him, he was like super apologetic and was like, "Oh my god, I'll just have fun."
Yeah.
I'll find out. And then after that, there was this huge switch.
Right.
And I feel like she got her hooks in him.
Yeah. She got offended and then she was like, oh no, they're all against me. And now she needs some sort of validation or something like that by convincing him that they're all against both of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. That's so hard to see. That isolation, man. That's rough. I said that is fine, but I also want to do things with just you. Sister-in-law did not take that well, which was not a good sign. They left more talkative and nicer to us after they simply pointed fingers at us. The next part of the story is where it got crazy. I hate getting sentences like that.
I don't want it to get crazier. I want it to be like, in the next part of the story, my brother apologized and we figured it out.
Everyone held hands in the sunset together.
And said kumbaya together.
Oh my gosh. Sister-in-law and my brother came back for a family dinner right after that weird meeting, the first in a while. I am about to move and they brought over a bag for Father's Day. They also brought a gift for my mom, which I thought was a belated Mother's Day gift because they didn't get it or anything. Inside, they announced that they were having a baby.
I knew it.
I knew it
was coming. I freaking knew it was coming.
Oh man, let us know in the chat if you also knew it.
Did you know it? Because we knew it.
I'm in pain right now.
Yeah.
This is hard. We had no clue what to say. We were happy, but just shocked. After hugging them and giving our congratulations, I went to my room. They clearly did not talk with us for months because they were angry, but decided to confront and make up with us because they were having a baby. We did not even know that they were mad in the first place. We had just gotten used to no contact because sister-in-law is controlling of every little thing my brother does. Flash forward, everything is fine, I guess, in terms of the normal dynamic. It is the fall and the baby shower is coming up. I was nervous because I had to tell them that I would not be able to make it because of my classes. Fortunately, it did not seem to matter, but that sounds kind of sad. My parents had a wedding that they already planned to attend, but drove down the next day so that they would be able to attend their first grandchild's baby shower. They were very excited. Sister-in-law rented out a wedding venue, discount through connections, but still expensive. My parents, yet again, out of the kindness of their hearts, gave them money for the baby shower. My mom asked if she could invite people, and sister-in-law gave her a limit. My mom invited 30-ish people, minus me, and sister-in-law invited over 75. This is a giant baby shower. Oh my goodness.
Yowza.
And this
75?
Yeah, they got a wedding venue for a baby shower.
That's kind of insane.
And they're going to have 100 people there.
And did they say who's paying for it?
I think
probably
they're paying for it, but the parents, OP's parents are like giving them some money.
Of course, that's what I thought.
Yeah, in exchange for being able to invite some people. My parents attended and they said that they were glad I did not come because I would have been banished to the background just like the wedding. They hung out with the few people that did come from their invites, but again, this was not enough for sister-in-law and my brother. Apparently, during their opening of presents, my brother was not able to get their attention. At the same time, did not try too hard. He got mad that they were not present for the opening of their gift. My parents were stuck all the way in the freaking back, for Christ's sake. What do you expect? Like, grandparents should be in the front.
Absolutely.
And
but there's too many people at this party.
Yeah, but it's like that's people that you would find to be like, okay, you got to come here. I want you here for this moment.
Hey,
instead of
you don't just be like, hey, someone seen my mom?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And you're like, okay, well, that's it.
They're
that's
like,
as hard as I'm trying.
At the very end of the room, and you're like, hey, mom. She didn't
hear me.
All right,
she's
keep
ignoring
going.
me.
Keep going. Yeah. Anyways, after the baby shower, my mom called and asked if they got the extra money she put in the card. My brother validated that he got the check, but then proceeded to ask my mom if she would be willing to purchase a $500 car seat on top of what my parents did. I'll let that sink in. Bro, just go to Target. Why do you need this premier car seat and Lululemon diaper bag? What? Lululemon diaper bag? I think it is still sister-in-law.
They sell diaper bags?
I had no idea, dude.
I'm looking this up while you read.
Yeah, please do. I think it is sister-in-law asking you to ask mom for sure. Now, almost caught up to the story in the title. I just wanted to end. What'd you say?
It's actually pretty nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know if
but
you can see
Lululemon, you don't even need Lululemon leggings. Those are still overpriced in my opinion.
A diaper bag, I feel like you could
bag?
get a cheaper one that still does the job.
You kind of just need like any backpack, I think. I mean,
Just
I've
stuff
never
it in a
needed one,
backpack.
but like it looks like a backpack with some extra pockets. That's what it seems.
I guess it's just organizationally it's easier, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure there are alternatives.
I'm sure there are other options than a Lululemon bag.
My parents received a call around Thanksgiving when they were visiting me, asking if sister-in-law and my brother could stay at their house for the weekend. My parents, being the kind of people that they are, said, sure, we are not there anyways. Apparently, my sister-in-law's dog bit her brother's newborn, and this caused her to have a big fight with her parents. Whoa. My sister-in-law's dog bit her brother's newborn. Wow.
Whoa. Oh my God.
That's wild. A newborn getting bit by
a dog. Oh my God. That's terrifying.
Yikes.
You have to be so, oh my God.
Yeah.
How do you not know that your dog is, like bites people?
Yeah. Or just even any dog being around a newborn, it's like you're on watch.
Yeah. You have to be so careful. Like, honestly, also the parents should have been like, don't keep this dog away, regardless of how friendly the dog is.
Absolutely. And I mean, we might find out a little bit more about that situation, but I'm guessing that whatever it was, the sister-in-law was just like, no, like it's not that bad.
So
like,
friendly.
It's not my bad.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's your dog, girl. Sorry. They packed up their stuff and moved into my parents' house, staying with them till Christmas. During this time, my mom did the dishes, helped watch their dog, and a bunch of other chores on top of working. My mom would ask simple favors, like to go help her pick up her car from the shop, but sister-in-law had a scheduled lunch that she has every week with her brother and her own sister-in-law. Sister-in-law would still visit her own family, who she was angry with during the day, when my parents and brother were at work. Talking to my brother, my dad agreed to help him pay for a down payment for a home, and readily my brother agreed. Oh boy. The day I come home for Christmas, my brother and sister-in-law were signing for a house and moved out the very day I arrived. Do you really think that we heard from them after Christmas? Not really. Mm-mm. Even though my parents decided to help with the house and try to bridge this disconnect, they were back to square one. I had already given up on my relationship with my brother, but for them, I wanted it to get better. They now have a house and the baby is due soon this month. However, a new silent treatment has begun. My parents have now been accused of being too controlling and have given my brother anxiety when it comes to judging him. My brother is now in therapy, but all he discusses is how my father expects more from him and how his father hates his wife. Yikes. Yikes. Who knows what he says about my mom and I. I called him this week after hearing that he was not talking to my parents. I tried to hear his side, but he was accusing them of things that they have never said and never even would. He even brought up the Halloween Horror Nights again and how my father was horrible to my sister-in-law, saying that they still dwell on it. It seems that he has lost sight of who our parents are, and that sister-in-law is feeding him lies. I feel the person I am talking to is not even him. Oh, this is getting sad now.
Yeah, they had like a good relationship, I feel like.
Yeah.
Before this.
Yeah, man. I confronted him, angry that he would say such things after our parents gave us a loving home and have done so much for us despite their own hardships in life. It is like he forgets that my parents are loving and kind people who would give up their lives for us.
And also like paid for his wedding.
Yeah.
Like they contributed a lot.
Yeah. And this thing is like the Halloween Horror Nights thing has got to be at least like 2 years past.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Like this big, oh my gosh. But you know what's not ridiculous is the fact that we got full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. We have given up our lives for you, and I think that's the one time we'll make that exception. We've got days and days, even weeks, over a month of content for you.
It's true.
More than you could ever need. Yeah. So go check it out. But there is a little bit more to the story. Woo. Do you have any final thoughts before we move on?
I'm really hoping that eventually the brother comes around and realizes that he's in this kind of toxic relationship that is pulling him away from his familial relationships and other relationships as well.
Yep.
But I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's just hard. She's obviously, this is like textbook manipulation.
Textbook.
You know, hanging on to one little thing from so long ago and having that be like the reason for everything. And then it's like, and she's probably saying like, oh, well, this all wouldn't have happened if you just didn't say that one time 2 years ago.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's just, oh man, I really hope he's okay. But there is a bit more. I did not tell my brother anything about his wife and only confronted his odd behavior. Sister-in-law now blocked me on Instagram for no reason after that conversation. I find that there is some deeper meaning of control going on, and she would prefer that our family is out of his life. I would love to see my nephew and have my parents be awesome grandparents, but there is some weirdness constantly happening. We feel like we are walking on eggshells. So am I the a-hole for confronting him after all that has happened? And that's the end. That's our final question. Please answer in the comments what you think. What you think the answer is. Am I, or is OP the a-hole?
No.
I think no.
No. I don't think you were ever the a-hole. You literally just asked when they were coming.
Yeah. Like
that's all you did.
Right. And I feel like in this kind of situation, it's so hard with situations like these because it's like you can't. When someone's in like a toxic situation like this, it's like you can't be like too overbearing and be like, this person's terrible, you're doing this, blah, 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 because then it's just more fuel for the fire.
Which I think is kind of what happened. I mean, the dad was like, you should be careful who you get married to. And then it was like,
exactly.
Snowballed.
Exactly. But it's like at a certain point, it's like if you actively see this person changing, like you'll want to say something about that. Especially if this is your brother. Like this isn't just some friend that you just like, I don't know, can part ways with. This is your brother.
It's your brother.
So like that's really hard. So you're definitely not the a-hole. You're doing the best you can. That's really all you can do in the situation.
Agreed.
It may just be the thing that you just have to, I don't know. Just I'm glad you're not being too aggressive and just like letting it happen kind of. And then trusting that he'll just have to come to this conclusion himself or something.
Yeah. And hopefully he comes to it soon.
Hopefully. But that is the end of that story.